All right, so the kings. The last kings that we talked about, we've skipped a week, so I have to bring it back up from your memory, is the two Jorams, Joram and Joram, one in the north, one in the south. We found out that Jehu comes in and he cleans house. He gets rid of one Joram. We're going to talk about the king that comes after Joram in the south. This is Ahaziah, Ahaziah, or it's also spelled Jehoahaz, or Azariah. So you'll see him called three different names. This is the same guy. Ahaziah, Ahaziah, or Jehoahaz, Jehoahaz, or Azariah, Azariah. Jehoahaz. So that's where this chronicling the kings is a nightmare, because little things like that, when it's not consistent as far as what they call them. Okay, he starts his reign in 841, and he's a long reigning king, 1 year. He's a short timer. Yeah, right. Thank goodness. Yeah, that's right. So he reigns, the supposed year that he's reigning is 841 BC. So 841 BC to 841 BC. He's the southern kingdom. That is 2 Kings 8, verse 25. 2 Kings 8, verse 25. He says, in the 12th year of Joram, son of Ahab, so that's the Joram in the north, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Joram, king of Judah, begin to reign. Okay, so Joram's son, Ahaziah, is this 1 year wonder. Verse 26. And 22 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. Okay, this is a wicked woman here. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, I skipped down to verse 29. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Ahaziah to reign over Judah. Okay, this is this guy. He's coming in here, and he's going to reign. He takes up his kingdom at the 12th year of the Joram up north, and he's going to reign, and they're both going to die at the same time. You also find that information in 2 Chronicles 22, but we'll not go there. And what he does is the same thing most of these kings do. He does evil. The evil is just typical. They all do this evil thing. 2 Kings 8, verse 27. And he walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. Okay, you marry into the wrong family. It's just human nature that you gravitate toward wickedness, and when wickedness is more available to you, it's probable you're going to jump right in. Same things in 2 Chronicles 22, 3 and 4. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother was his counselor to do wickedly. So Athaliah was bad news for him. It wasn't bad enough that he was related to the house of Ahab. His mom was a wicked woman, and she counseled him to do wickedly. Imagine that. We're going to find, I think we'll make it to more information on Athaliah by the end of this, and you'll see how wicked a woman she is. Wherefore he did evil in the sight of the Lord, like the house of Ahab, for they were his counselors after the death of his father, to his destruction. Wickedness doesn't get you ahead, get you behind. It's for his destruction. And let's see. That was 2 Chronicles 22, verse 3 and 4. Other thing he does that's wicked is he joins with Joram in the north to war against Hazael, king of Syria. Now you remember Hazael. Hazael was anointed by Jehu to be king because that had been prophesied for Elijah to do, and Elijah didn't do it. Elisha did it. Here he is, the Syrian king. Well, the north and the south have joined together. It's okay for them to put their disagreements on hold while they go after the guy in the north. You find in the Middle East, this is a normal thing. The Muslims fight each other tooth and nail nonstop all the time. However, if they have a common enemy, they'll join together and put their differences aside to fight whatever the common enemy is, and usually it's America if they can get to America. But they love to fight each other. There's Ravi Zachariah. If you look him up, he's got some good stuff on the Muslims. I heard him give the denomination number of Muslims. There's no such thing as Muslim. It's Sunni, Shia. There's about 15 different groups of Muslim denominations, and they all hate each other. So saying Muslim is kind of a lie. It's not really Muslim. It's what type of Muslim. It's like saying the word Christian. When the news media says the word Christian, it's not the way we say the word Christian, because they'll throw a Catholic in there, or a Mormon, Jehovah's Witness, all this stuff that's not biblical Christianity. They'll call it Christian. Well, that's what we do with Muslim. It's not really Muslim, and you've got to identify it. They're a denomination too. Okay, I don't know how we got off on all that. 2 Kings 8, verse 28. 2 Kings 8, 28. Okay, this Ahaziah in the south is going to join up with Joram in the north, and they're going to go fight Syria. Verse 28. And he went with Joram the son of Ahab to war against Hazael, king of Syria, in Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians wounded him. And King Joram went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramoth, when he had fought against Hazael, king of Syria. And Ahaziah, the son of Joram, king of Judah, went down to see him, Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. Now, you got so many Jorams and sons and Joram's sons that you don't know what you're talking about. What you have is they go to war, and Joram in the north is hit and wounded, and he's sick. So Ahaziel in the south goes up, and they're going to, commiserate together. 2 Chronicles 22, 5 and 6, same story. He walked also after their counsel, and went with Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, to war against Hazael, king of Syria, at Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians smote Joram. And he returned to be healed in Jezreel because of the wounds which were given him at Ramoth, when he had fought Hazael, king of Syria. And Azariah, the son of Joram, the king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. That clarifies it. Your passage in 1 Kings, you walk away with thinking, okay, which is which? This one here in 2 Chronicles clarifies it. It tells you the guy in the south went to see the guy in the north. That's 2 Chronicles 22, 5 and 6. And you'll find that. You'll have to compare passages in the Bible. The Bible's written, I think, on purpose to be confusing. So you scratch your head and say, what in the world did he just say? Who is who? What is what? So you'll sit down and you'll scratch it out on paper, and you'll say, well, it could be this, it could be that, who knows? And then you'll keep reading, and then all of a sudden there it is. You'll see it. You'll see the answer. So there it is. Sometimes we can compare these Chronicles of the Kings and get their information. So Ahaziah, the king in the south, ends up being killed. He's a one-year ruling wonder, and he's killed by Jehu. Jehu is cleaning house. He's 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 27. 2 Kings 9, 27. Ahaziah is going to meet his end after 1 year on the throne. Verse 22, 2 Kings 9, 27. But when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Judah followed after him, and said, Smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up of Gur, which is by Ibleam. And he fled to Megiddo, and died there. That's a good place for him to die. Megiddo is the place that a final battle is going to happen. That's the Battle of Armageddon, Megiddo. You find the same account in 2 Chronicles 22:7. 2 Chronicles 22, and I'm going to just take two verses out of this, verse 7 and verse 9. 2 Chronicles 22, verse 7 and 9. And the destruction of Ahazah was of God by coming to Joram. Okay, so God has identified, you went up to the king in the north, and I don't like that, you got to go. Stiff penalty. For when he was come, he went out with Joram against Jehu, the son of Nimshi, whom the Lord had anointed to cut off the house of Ahab. And he sought Ahaziah, and they caught him, for he was hid in Samaria. He's a brave man. And brought him to Jehu. And when they had slain him, they buried him, because, said they, he is the son of Jehoshaphat, who sought the Lord with all his heart. So the house of Ahaziah had no power to keep still the kingdom. Okay, now he's dead. What are we going to do? Bad news. Well, there's more bad news on the way. The next one up after he's dead is going to be Grandma, Athaliah. Athaliah's been waiting her turn to take the throne. She started by counseling her son to do wickedly. Now she sees a vacancy and she's jumping on it. Not only does she do that, she makes sure nobody's going to interfere with her ruling. So she's a queen, but she's in the line of the kings as a ruler. She rules for 7 years, a long-ruling wicked woman. Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, destroys the seed royal. What's that other guy's name? Ahaziah? I can't. Any of Ahaziah's sons that would have been eligible to take the throne, she kills. Because she wants to ensure that she gets to sit on that throne. What a grandma. She killed her grandsons. Now, she thought she did. She missed one. Now, she was stupid. Well, for many reasons, but what she should not have just killed the sons, because they had sisters. And don't you think that the sisters took that personal? Grandma is killing our brothers. So one of the sisters saves one of the boys. And that we'll get into that story in a minute. 2 Kings 11, verse 1. 2 Kings 11, verse 1. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. Anybody who was of the royal line, if they were male, she cut them out. Now she should have been scared because she wasn't a male, and she's sitting on the throne. What about the women? She should have gone after them too. You find the same thing, 2 Chronicles 22:10. But when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed the seed royal of the house of Judah. Okay, she's wicked, and she's going to make herself the potentate. Everybody's going to come to her. And she's a wicked woman from the beginning. But there's one son that's saved. Joash, the son of Ahaziah, is hid while Athaliah reigns. She's reigning for 7 years. So for 6 years, her grandbaby she didn't know about has been rescued by his sister. She went and got him, hid him. And then as the story unfolds, they'll create a conspiracy. and they'll go after Athaliah, and she meets her doom. 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 2. 2 Kings 11, verse 2. Now, I have a self-pronouncing Bible that doesn't actually self-pronounce. It just makes little lines in here. I'm supposed to still pronounce it. But I'm going to look at some of these names. 2 Kings 11, Jehosheba. Jehosheba. Now, if you're a woman, wouldn't you want that name? Jehosheba, the daughter of Joram. Okay, so Jehosheba, the daughter of Joram, the daughter of the king of Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons which were slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land. Now, wouldn't that be bad if you had been in Israel at that time, in Judah at that time? Athaliah is reigning. And as far as you know, there's no hope. And I'm sure there's some people out there praying. I mean, that'd be like Barack Obama reigning for 12 years. Right. Okay, so somebody's been praying. And their prayer's going to get answered, but they don't know it yet. And God's been answering it for 6 years. It's been hid. Nobody knows it. I think ours are a lot like that too. 2 Chronicles 22, verse 11. But Jehosheba, only here it's Beth, Jehoshebeth, the daughter of the king, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons that were slain. Stole him, huh? Now, the Bible has stiff penalties for anyone who is a man-stealer, and that's the way it says it, man-stealer. Obviously, she's a man-stealer. She just stole one, but it's for a different purpose. It's to save life, not destroy the life. So there you can take it in context.
Well, it said he had a nurse, so it can't be a man, it can't be young.
Oh, no, he's a baby, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm. Man meaning male. And put him and his nurse in a bedchamber. So that woman, Jehoshebeth, the daughter of King Joram, the wife of Jehoiada, the priest. Okay, so she married into a good family. I've got to get all these names straight. It's so easy to get them mixed up. Josiah's sister is the one who rescues him, and she's married to a priest, Jehoiada, the priest. And he's going to be the one responsible for this child. So now he's got a good upbringing. Rather than having to suffer under being raised by a wicked grandma, even though she didn't want to raise anybody, she wants to kill him. Yeah, behead him. He gets just the opposite. He's raised by a priest. So that's good. We've got a good future ahead of us for this guy. Verse 12. And he was with them hid in the house of God 6 years, and Athaliah reigned over the land. Okay, so she gets it for a little while, but she's soon out. Yeah. Well, it was hid. Now you find, I'm sure that it's more than just she was in a house that they didn't know about. It's probably she knew about all the houses around there. And it's probably that he was literally hid. You find of Moses, he was hid of his mother for 3 months. So as long as she could keep him hid in the house, she was hiding him. You know, threw him in the dryer for a while.
There's chambers in the house of the Lord too, because I was learning mine. He talks about the different chambers in the house of the Lord. So he can move from chamber to chamber. And they have good things to eat at the time, and
Yeah.
be quiet in that little chamber for a minute.
Okay, so up north in Israel, we have Jehu. Jehu is taking the throne. Jehu's the one who's been killing everybody. And he's going to keep killing. He ain't done. He got a taste of it, and he likes it. And I think he likes it too much. He reigns for 28 years. His reign is from 841 to 814 BC. So he takes the throne about the same time that Ahaziah's ruling ends, and the same time Joram in the north ends. Jehu orders the execution of 70 sons of Ahab. He orders them all killed. Now, that sounds cruel. However, that's the reason he was ordained. Elijah was told to do this. Elisha ends up doing it. His ordination as king was for the purpose of destroying the house of Ahab. And so that's what he's going to do. 2 Kings 10, verse 1. 2 Kings 10, verse 1. And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria. Let's just stop there a second. He had 70 sons. He didn't reign but 40 years. How did he get 70 sons out of 40 years? Wickedness. Unto the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders, and to them that brought up Ahab's children, saying, Now, as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's sons are with you, and there are with you chariots and horses and fenced cities also, and armor, look even out to the best and meetest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. He said, I'm ready for a fight. You got some of Ahab's boys there? Pick you out one to play king. We're going to play cops and robbers. I'm going to be the cop. Cowboys and Indians, you're the Indian. And that's what he's doing. And then, of course, they're just scared to death. They don't want to do that. So, what do? He says, okay, there's one way you can avoid me coming to town. When I come to town, there's just blood flowing when I leave. But if I don't come to town, you got to do it. You cut off their heads and throw them in a basket and pitch it over the wall to me. And I'll say we're good. And they do. They kill them. And so then that becomes, he holds that over their heads. He says, yeah, I was a dirty dog. I killed this king and I killed that king. But hey, who killed all those 70 sons? He'll turn it around and use it on them later for blackmail. He also kills the princes of Judah. So he's not just going to stop killing in the north. He's going to continue his killing to the south as well. 2 Kings 10, verse 15. This is Jehu. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said unto him, Is thine heart right as my heart is right with thy heart? He's saying, are you as cheerful and happy a peaceful fellow as I am? And he's not a cheerful, happy, peaceful fellow. He's a warmonger. And this guy is going to get snookered. And Jonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand and took him up into his chariot. And he said, Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. So he made him ride in his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord which he spake to Elijah. Okay, he is just on a killing spree. But he's got to. That's the way you get rid of wickedness. You kill it. And you don't stop till it's all gone. You leave one little rotten spot, and before you know it, it's spread to everywhere. That's the way you get rid of wickedness, is destroy it. You got to smote and slew. You got to get it all out. And that's what he does. Queen Athaliah in the south. Queen Athaliah in the south. Jehoiada the priest is going to lead a conspiracy. And he's going to anoint this baby, 7-year-old by now, Joash, as king. So we've got wicked woman on the throne and a 7-year-old boy. Could you imagine a 7-year-old boy being king? Well, he's going to be. He's going to be the king. Now, of course, he's going to co-regent with, of course, the elders. And that'll be his main counselor, no doubt, is going to be the priest, Jehoiada. So he's going to be a good king. He'll be king, that's 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 4. And in the 7th year of Jehoiada, sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds, with the captains and guards, and brought them to him unto the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. They didn't know he was around. And commanded them, saying, This is the thing ye shall do. A third part of you enter in at this. Third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keeper of the watch of the king's house, and a third part shall be at the gate of Shur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep watch of the house, that it be not broken down. Okay, we're going to set up some safeguards to keep this boy from getting killed before he gets on the throne. And 2 parts of you that go forth of the Sabbath, even ye shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And ye shall compass the king around about, every man with his weapon in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. Okay, so there's going to be a force field, and it's going to be enforced. If you get too near this boy, you get killed. Because the little boy isn't smart enough to know to set all this up yet. And be ye with the king as he goeth out and as he cometh in. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all the things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were with him, that were to come into the Sabbath, with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David's spear and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. So they're setting up a siege. They're creating a battleground right there at the temple. Verse 11, And the guard stood every man with his weapon in his hand round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar of the temple. And he brought forth the king's son, and put a crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And they made him king, and anointed him. And they clapped their hands, and said, God save the king. Okay, they've made him king. Now they had to just orchestrate it to the T, or else he wouldn't have lasted a minute. Athaliah would have got him. She's not too, what do you call it? She's not too peace-loving. And you find the same account in 2 Chronicles 23, but I'm not going to go there. The next thing that happens is Athaliah sees her doom. She's killed, finally. We're going to finally get rid of her. Well, if we've got a king on the throne, we don't need queen playing king. She's got to go. And that's a tough thing. Imagine grandson's going to command his grandma to be killed. But that's what has to happen. And that's what's going to happen. 2 Kings 11, verse 13. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and the people, she came to the people and to the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, Treason, treason. Okay, it's not treason. It's legitimate. She's not legitimate. He is legitimate. He's the son of the man who was just ousted, just killed, that was last king. So it's his turn to be king. That's legitimate. So she's going to claim it's illegitimate. That's typical. But Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds and the officers of the host, said unto them, Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. For the priest had said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. And they laid their hands on her, and she went by the way by the which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. Okay, they take her out and kill her. She's gone. Now she didn't enjoy it, but she did get to see her grandson get on the throne. That would be something a grandma should want to see. But she didn't get to see it. Not with joy. She saw it as competition. That's treason. Get him off of there. I'm the man. No, I'm the woman. And she found out who she was. Nobody. Same account is in 2 Chronicles 23, 12 to 15, and it's basically the same information. I won't read it to you. Okay, what happens up north? We've been down south and seen Athaliah get hers. Up north, Jehu's still doing his business in Israel. He slays all the remnant of Ahab in Samaria. That'll be in 2 Kings 10, verse 15. 2 Kings 10, 15. And he was departed thence, he lighted on Jonadab, the son of Rechab. Okay, we've already read all that. He said, you want to come see how much zeal I got for God? Come watch me do some great things for God. And he did do some great things for God because God is the one who set him up to kill all Ahab's kids. That was zeal for God. We look at that and think, man, that's a rough thing, and surely that's not right. But it was right. That was exactly what he was on the throne to do. He does something else that's great. He destroys the house of Baal. Baal has always been a problem in Israel. Always. And so, anybody who's got anything good about them, you can just about measure it by what they do with Baal. If they get rid of Baal, then they're pretty good. 2 Kings 10, verse 18. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. I like this guy. This is a colorful figure, we could say. He says, here's what I want to do. I want everybody that's been serving Baal to just ramp it up. Everybody before me has served Baal a little bit in comparison to how devoted I am. He's setting a trap for him. And let's read it, verse 19. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Yeah, no kidding. Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal. And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed it. And Jehu sent throughout all of Israel, and all worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came unto the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to the other. Talk about a worship service. I mean, that's mega church right there, buddy. They got it's standing room only. Verse 22, and he said unto him that it was over the vestry, bring forth the vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments. Okay, he's not just going to have them come in for a worship service. He's going to make them feel good about doing it. Okay, give them something so they feel special. You know, they get a special robe to wear. Verse 23. And Jehu went and Jonadab the son of Rechab into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, search and look, that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only. He said, we don't want any stragglers. If they really are a worshiper of Baal, you've been in the temple and you've been in the tabernacle, and you know the guys who come there on a regular basis. If you see any of them here, tell them they're in the wrong spot. Now, that's a good warning, because there's an old song that says, it talks about God will set your fields on fire. It says, if you from sin, unless you from sin retire, God will set your fields on fire. And there's some truth to that. God sets people up too. He says a companion of fools will be destroyed. He didn't say the companion was a fool. He said fools get destroyed, but also their companions. So you hang with the wrong crowd, get destroyed. So I don't know if any of the worshipers of the Lord ended up being in that crowd. He was going to do everything he could to keep them out, but probably there were some of them there who were just trying both sides. That's dangerous. Verse 24. And when they went in to offer sacrifice and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed 80 men without. Okay, 80, how many is that? 80. And said, if any of the men whom I have brought unto your hands escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him. Okay, he set some guards up. He said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to kill everybody. If one person is escaped with their life, and they get out of here and they don't die, you're going to die. I've got this whole group here, and they're all destined for death. And I'm so serious about it, if the guards let anybody go, I'm killing them. And Jehu is not one you would try to reason with. Verse 24. And when they went into the officers and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed... Oh, we just read that. Verse 25. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offerings, that Jehu said unto the guard and to the captains, Go in and slay them. Let none of them come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. Well, that's good. I wouldn't want them to smite them with the broadside of it. And the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal and burned them. And they break down the images of Baal, and break down the house of Baal, and made it a dung house unto this day. He said, okay, here's your porta potty. Verse 28. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Good job. Now, if the story ended there, we could clap our hands and say we like Jehu. But it doesn't end there. Because, what did we say about wickedness? When you go after wickedness, you got to get it until it's gone. He didn't do that. We're going to have to pick that up next time around. Let's stop it there because we've got too much time. I got too much to cover and not enough time to do it.